Hi, friend. It's your inner child calling. And they want churros. A new toy. And a new adventure. Or maybe 5. With the bestest besties on Earth. Find your moment at Walt Disney World Resort.
When it comes to your health and well-being, the right care can change everything. That's why Cleveland Clinic has been elevating world-class patient care for over a century. From the latest in heart, neurology, and cancer care to advanced diagnostics and beyond, Cleveland Clinic is here for every care in the world. Explore a wide variety of health and wellness info by visiting clevelandclinic.org today.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Cheekies, and I'm back with a brand new season of your favorite podcast, Cheekies and Chill. I'll be sharing even more personal stories with you guys, and as always, you'll get my exclusive take on topics like love, personal growth, health, family ties, and more. And don't forget, I'll also be dishing out my best advice to you on episodes of Dear Cheekies. It's going to be an exciting year, and I hope that you can join me. Listen to Cheekies and Chill Season 4 on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is Mel Reid, LPGA Tour winner and 6-time Ladies European Tour winner.
And Kira K. Dixon, NBC Sports reporter and host.
And we've got a new podcast, Quiet Please, with Mel.
And Kira. We are bringing you spicy takes on sports and pop culture, some interviews with incredible people who have figured out how to make golf their superpower.
An iHeart Women's Sports production in partnership with Deep Blue Sports and Entertainment. You can find us on iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Presented by Elf Beauty, founding partner of iHeart Women's Sports.
Hi, everyone. It's Amanda Rieger Green. Welcome to Soul Sessions. I'm so glad you're here. Today, we're going to do something that is not only going to be simple and accessible and a ton of fun, it is wildly profound and useful. It will activate your higher consciousness. It will help you better get in touch with yourself, your wisdom, your intuition, and it's also going to create clarity. We're going to talk about utilizing oracle cards or tarot cards during the new and the full moon. And I'm going to do this in a 2-part series. So for this episode, we're going to focus on utilizing these divination tools as a ritual and ceremony during the full moon. And then part 2 will be about the new moon. And one thing I want to say is you can utilize this at any time, make it your own, but you can also use it for eclipses. So this applies not only to a regular full moon, it's great for a full moon eclipse. And if you're working with eclipse energy, just remember that as you're doing your spread of cards and your journaling and your ritual that I'll walk you through and give you some insights and guidelines for, you'll be thinking in terms of what is going on now, but how will this impact me in the course of the next 6 months? So eclipses trigger a 6-month cycle. A regular new or full moon focuses on a 30-day cycle, a lunation, a full 30-day cycle where the moon travels all the way around each of the astrological signs. Focusing on the full moon, I want to start there because it will be very helpful because full moons are about closure. They're a time of completion. And what happens is there's an opposition between the sun and the moon, and it creates enlightenment. It sheds light on what has been lurking beneath the surface, hiding in the shadows, not quite ready to be revealed yet, or in your subconscious. So it is a time of illumination. Full moons, full moon eclipses are times of closure, letting go, surrender, healing, death, and not always literal death. I mean, more so what is dying in you, so it's creating space for something new to be born. It is a time of really focusing on shadow work, the darker aspects within yourself, your psyche, your surroundings, your circumstances that are needing to transmute, wanting to be revealed to you for you to heal. So it's a time of closure versus like a new moon eclipse that is a time of planting seeds, initiation, move forward, new beginnings. So what I'm going to share with you today about working with oracle cards and tarot and divination tools, I have done this very ritualistically since 2013. And prior to that, I'd always been aware of a little bit of astrology, moon cycles, things like that. But when it opened up and activated in me, I literally, I'm laughing about this because it's kind of wild for me even to say this. I literally have been doing new and full moon ceremonies and rituals for myself since 2013. That's like 2 a month usually. Do that math. It's 2025 right now. So it kind of blows my mind. And of course, they have evolved and changed over the years. There are some times where I'm somewhere where I don't fully go, pull cards and do the whole ceremony, but I do something. And most of you have created ritual and consistency around this. And I've shared this often, but the lowest hanging fruit in terms of spiritual tools, growth, healing, manifesting, all of those things that we are incorporating and curious about, to me, are new and full moons, because every 2 weeks, you get to work with the universal energies, your personal energy, and it helps create a framework. 1 week, you're working on new intentions, seeding new intentions around the new moon. What am I doing over the course of the next 30 days? What's happening? How can I work with this energy, the astrological signs? And then the full moon 2 weeks later says, hey, what has been revealed since then? What am I closing? What am I shedding? What's getting in my way? What is limiting me? So it creates this beautiful cycle for the month, for a calendar month, or for a 30-day cycle, which is the true lunation, depending on the new and full moon, where you're working with the sun, wherever the sun is transiting for that 30 days in that astrological sign, and then the moon's journey. And there's more depth we can get into with this: cross quarter moons, a waning gibbous, a waxing gibbous. There's all sorts of things. But for the new and the full moon, this is the 101 basics. And it's one of those things for me that I hold sacred every 2 weeks and utilize in some capacity. But I would say, gosh, for 5 or 6 years, there was barely a new or full moon I missed without doing an oracle card spread or a tarot spread. And I found it to be so profound and practical and illuminating. And it like I would pull cards and I would almost go, oh my gosh, am I making this up? Did this really come through? I can't believe that this just came through, because this is exactly what I'm frustrated with, or this is exactly what I'm healing and working on right now. And that excitement has never left. Every time I pull cards, I'm always amazed. And every is a big word, right? Broad stroke. Pretty much all the time I pull a card, I'm amazed. And if there's ever a card I don't pull that I don't understand, usually more will be revealed. I trust the process. I allow it to reveal itself to me in due time. So I trust what's coming through. And then there are other times when I pull a card, whether it's new or full moon energy, or I'm needing a card for the day where I feel like I need more information. So I pull another card to go with it, so it maybe gives me more context or information. Now, before I get started on the full moon, one thing I want to share is there's a blog that goes with this. So it will help you break some things down. And I encourage you to utilize the podcast and the blog. Take your notes, do your stuff, and set up your own practice. But it will be very helpful. And also, I have 2 blogs that most of you are aware of or have referenced. One is working with new moon energy, and the other is working with full moon energy. And in those blogs, I break down each of the zodiac signs. So I go Aries through Pisces with just overarching traits or themes for a new moon, working with an Aries new moon, a Pisces new moon, a Libra new moon. Same thing with the full moon blog. Pisces full moon, Libra full moon, Scorpio full moon, and it has traits and attributes. And both of those blogs have free ceremonies in them. So you can download that. So I've created a lot of resources around this already for you. And I hope they're helpful. Take what you want, leave the rest. But this is going to up level, enhance your game, and give you some new insights to really create greater psychospiritual awareness. Okay, so with the full moon and working with oracle cards, I've shared this before, I'm going to reiterate it, is for the full moon, you want to find the exact time of the moon. I usually share this in my forecast. You can just go on your search engine and say, oh, there's an Aries full moon on XYZ date. What time is it? And whatever time zone they put it in, you calculate your time zone. But what you want to do as a rule of thumb is you do your ritual, ceremony, oracle, tarot spread after the moon is exact, not before. And this applies to new and full moons. But the energy is building, and the exact moment of the opposition, if we're talking about a full moon, does not happen till a moment. And it's like everything needs to crescendo and build. And then you settle into your ceremony, or you begin your ceremony then. And of course, there are full moons that happen at 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. and 2 p.m. on a Tuesday when you're at work. Don't stress about this. It doesn't have to be perfect. Do it when you get home. If it's at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday, or once you put your kids to bed that night, do your ritual or ceremony. Or first thing in the morning, you do you, and work with the calendar loosely, yet utilize the rule of thumb after it is exact. And you don't want to do it 3 days after it's exact. And there are ways to get more specific in this, because the moon could go into something we call a void of course, which means it is about to change signs from one zodiac sign to another, and it is out in a void where it is in no contact with other planets. I don't want you to stress about this. There are just way more ways you can drill down to when you should do your intentions. But you know what? So what? It's not about it being perfect. It's about the energy and the action you're taking around it. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of context, because there can be more layers, there are more schools of thought and rules of thumb. But for our purposes today, allow the full moon to be exact, and then you, within the next 24 hours, as best you can, do your ritual. First of all, you want to create some sacred space. So whether it's your spouse or your kids or your roommates, you want to create quiet time, alone time. And listen, there have been times where I have sat in a closet and done my oracle card spreads because I've been out of town, or, I'm with friends and I'm saying, okay, I need an hour to go sit and do my thing, or I do it first thing in the morning. I find intimate alone time to do this. And yes, I've done plenty of ceremonies in groups and on retreats and with people. That's amazing too. You can do this, but this is about your regular practice, your personal practice. So carve out an hour. Carve out that time as your sacred time. And I can't tell you how many times I've sat down at 6 p.m. to do this, and next thing I know, it's 8:30 or 9, because I get so into it, and I just am in the energy, and it's helpful in that sense. Oftentimes, especially when I was doing this, I would do this outside. We had a beautiful fire pit and backyard on a couple of acres of land, and I would go out to the fire pit. I would create a big crystal grid, and I'd have all my tools and resources and my sage, and I would do it outside, and I'd leave the grid out 2 or 3 nights. You can do all of this stuff. I would leave my cards out sometimes under the moonlight. So you can do that. Get creative. Put them in your windowsill. I want you to make this your own and know that that is your intuition. You follow it. There's no perfect formulary. So with pulling oracle cards for a full moon, the intention and the energy is really to look at what is needing to be healed, let go of, shed, released, grieved, surrendered to, what is limiting or holding you back from your evolution, from your growth? What is creating tension? What is creating a lot of polarity? That is the basis of the full moon. What is the shadow that is occurring within and around you that is asking to be alchemized or transmuted? So that's the intention around a full moon that you bring to your deck of cards. And I shared with everybody, you can either use an oracle deck or a tarot deck. If you're comfortable with the tarot and familiar with it, use your tarot cards. If oracle cards are your language, use those. And if you don't know the difference between the two, I'll tell you that right now. Tarot cards are a set deck of cards. There's 22 cards in the major arcana, and then you have the remaining cards. So you have this big deck of cards that basically walks through all sorts of archetypes and has different suits, so to speak, that have different messages and meanings. The tarot is defined, and you may have different tarot decks and interpretations, but there are the same cards, essentially, and archetypes and lessons and meanings ascribed to those cards. An oracle deck is more loose, it's more artistic, and there's a gajillion different flavors of oracle decks. So if you're into animal cards and animal medicine, that you get an animal oracle deck. If you're into angels, there's tons of angel decks. There are so many decks out there, and most of you, I hope, have a deck or two. When I first started out, the very first deck I was drawn to was by Colette Baron-Reid. She has a plethora of decks, and she really focuses on her oracle cards and oracle decks. I do believe she has a tarot deck or two, but her oracle decks are excellent. Who I gravitate towards now around my oracle decks is Elena Fairchild. And the first deck I got of hers was called The Sacred Rebels, and that was probably back in 2017, 2018. I was in Sedona, and I encountered this deck, and it just spoke to my soul and blew my mind. And since then, I am very familiar with her decks. She's incredible. She speaks to me in a language that very much resonates with something sacred, divine, and higher. So I gravitate towards her decks these days when it comes to oracle decks and the usage of that. Also, when I do a spread, sometimes I'll use 2 or 3 decks in my spread for a new or full moon because I want to. I'm like, okay, I'm going to pull this fairy deck and this tarot deck and this, shamanic wisdom deck. And I'll do different flavors, but oftentimes I use one deck. You do you, whatever you're called to. Have fun with it. And the cards, they'll work together. They totally will work together. And it's kind of mind-blowing at times.
This is Jenny Garth from I Do Part 2. You could have lost 10 pounds already if you started 1 month ago. So are you ready to start today? Find out if weight loss meds are right for you in just 3 minutes at tryfh.com.
Tryfh.com.
Results vary based on start weight and adherence to diet, exercise, and program goals. Data based on independent studies sponsored by Future Health. Future Health is not a healthcare services provider. Meds are prescribed at provider's discretion.
Hi, friend. It's your inner child calling. And they want churros. A new toy. And a new adventure. Or maybe 5. With the bestest besties on Earth. Find your moment at Walt Disney World Resort.
From prioritizing time to keep our bodies active to simply creating space to check on our well-being, Happiness Lab listeners take their health very seriously. But when it comes to treating complex issues like heart disease, neurological disorders, or even cancer, the right care can make all the difference. That's why Cleveland Clinic has been elevating world-class patient care for over a century. Whether they're raising the bar in heart care, uncovering the mysteries of the brain, or researching new treatments for cancer, Cleveland Clinic continues to redefine what's possible. For every breakthrough in health, for every care in the world. Explore a wide array of health and wellness information by visiting clevelandclinic.org today.
The more you listen to your kids, the closer you'll be. Find resources to help you support your kids and their emotional well-being at sounditouttogether.org. That's sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal.
Okay, so get your deck, get your sacred space, get your crystals out, don't get your crystals out, get your sage, do what you want to do, get your journal. Absolutely, the journal here is that's my favorite part of it, is the journal and the things that I get to write on and what comes through me during this really sacred time. So get your journal, create your sacred space. The first thing that is important to do once you're in your sacred space is to clear your deck, to bless your deck. And there's no magic formulary to this. For me, a lot of times I'll take some sage or Palo Santo and I will literally hold my cards out and cleanse and clear the deck. And as I do that, I say I'm cleansing, clearing the energy around this deck for the highest divine wisdom to be revealed to and through me. Thank you. I bless this deck so the information being transmitted is coming from the highest light, love, and vibration for my highest path forward and for the greatest good. So bless your deck. Thank it. Cleanse the energy. And you don't have to have Palo Santo or sage to do that. Your thought, your mind, and your intention does it. Clear the deck. That is good enough. So do that first. And sit for a few minutes in the full moon energy and recognize, pray, set some intentions for yourself before you even begin to divine, before you begin to draw cards. Hold the deck close to your heart and just breathe. Turn on some meditation music if you like. If you are sitting out under the full moonlight, let the moonlight hit your face and your spirit and say, may these cards reveal to me, what I have been unable to see. Help these words and these messages come from the highest point of light that is clearing and cleansing my spirit and showing me the path forward. Give me the courage to hear the messages and to healthfully integrate them over the course of the next 30 days. And if it's an eclipse, over the course of the next 6 months. So that way you're just conditioning yourself and setting yourself up for success. And as you say those things and think those things, believe them. Part of the magic is in the utter surrender to the mystery and the divine. I mean, like I said, every time I read cards for someone or myself, I don't really read cards for people that often. It's not my thing. I'll do it for fun, or I'll do it, if we're in a group setting and things like that. But I read cards for myself. It's a very intimate and private thing. And when you're working in sacred space and ceremony, this isn't something that I take a bunch of pictures of and share on social media. To me, sacred space is sacred space in time and my communion with the divine. I might every now and then take a picture of, my sacred space and share it, but rarely do I do that because I don't need to document it through a camera or a lens. I'm documenting it in my spirit. So just think about it as basically your very intimate time with your higher self and the universe, where you're alchemizing. You're becoming the alchemist of your own soul, and it's creating a ripple out into the cosmos. So after you've gotten still and quiet and held the deck close and conditioned it and conditioned the full moon energy, then you're going to pull, I'm going to suggest a 4-card spread. There are lots of card spread, 3-card spread, 7-card spread, 12-card spread. And believe me, I've done them all. There are times when I have done a 12-card spread. Now you wonder why it takes me 2 hours to do this. But oftentimes it's a 3 or a 4-card spread for me. And in the blog, I base it on a 4-card spread. Of course, you can add your own magic, change it up, but this is just a great framework to use. I do a 4-card spread. And today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through this and I'm going to pull cards for us. And the intention with these cards, and if you're listening on any of the podcast platforms, awesome. But if you're watching on YouTube, you got it right here. I'm shuffling cards and shuffling my deck. I've already cleared this deck. By the way, I cleared it before I started recording the podcast, but I'm going to go ahead and say, may the messages and information that come through in these cards bring the highest path forward for all of us listening. All of us listening at any given time, breaking the barriers of time and space, connecting us all through the multiverse in the highest realms, in the highest light for the highest path, love, and healing forward. Thank you. Thank you, cards. And these cards, I'm going to pull, I'll tell you what deck I'm using. I'm using my OG deck, which is the first Oracle deck I ever got. I got it in 2013, and it's Colette Baron Reed's Enchanted Map. And this deck it speaks to my soul. It's an easy one for me to use, and it's tried or true. So that's the deck I'm using, the Enchanted Map by Colette Baron Reed. All right. You can check the blog out for the questions. So I'm going to pull a card for everyone, and then I'm going to interpret it for us all, and then I'm going to show you how I would interpret it for myself and what I do with my journaling. So I'm going to make this very practical, but also universal. All right, the first card I'm asking, and a card just flew out, and I haven't even asked the question yet, which that happens all the time. So the card that's emerging has just emerged, and the question I was going to ask is, what hidden truths do I need to be aware of now? What needs to be revealed to me now that I have not been ready to or able to see up until now? So that's the question. What hidden truths do we need that we have not been ready to see or perceive or understand up until now? All right, this is kind of cool. The card that flew out is called Slow and Steady, and it is a stunning card. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm putting it up to the screen, but if you're listening, it is this woman, like a fairy, coming out of a snail shell, and the snail is definitely like the Fibonacci sequence. The woman is basically a fairy with beautiful translucent wings, and her hand is on her heart. Now, I'm describing this to you all because this is the first thing you want to do is before you even read the message, look at the imagery of the card. What do you see from this? The first thing I see for all of us is when we're in our heart center, we will have everything illuminated to us. When we are in our heart, and that Fibonacci sequence in the snail, of course, a snail denotes slow and steady wins the race. Slow down, y'all. Slow down, Amanda. But also that Fibonacci sequence, that spiral, the divine codes here, the divine geometry in this, the sacred geometry of infinity, because the Fibonacci sequence goes on forever. So there's an infinite quality to this card. There's an otherworldly translucent quality. There's a fairy. So it's talking about other realms, things that we cannot see, using our fancy and our imagination. The woman's hand is on her heart. She is literally connecting with her heart chakra and fifth dimensional consciousness, to speak in some language that we've been using. And the message is slow and steady. So you can see how much I just interpreted from the card without getting to my own stuff or your stuff yet, right? But the message for all of us, which I think we can all relate to right now, is to slow down, to get still, to go within, find the divine within. Slow and steady wins the race. Now, I'm going to throw y'all for a loop here. When this card fell out of my deck, it did not fall out upright. It fell out reversed. So let's just monkey wrench it up, right? So here's the deal. Whenever you pull a card and you pull it in the reverse, don't go, I got the reverse. Like I do that sometimes. I'm like, all that means, and this is the way I interpret it, all that means is I need to learn this lesson because I'm being stubborn. Amanda, get the heck out of your own way. Y'all, get out of your own way and slow down. And hello, we all know how busy we are. We are running marathons in life and work and family and responsibility and adulting, and we live in a microwave culture. one of the things that we have talked about, and I'm specifically thinking about my conversation about the astrology of 2025 with Hannah's Elsewhere, where we talked about the north node of the moon moving into Pisces. And a big part of that is slowing down, going within. And guess what? The opposite, the south node in Virgo says, I want to get things done. I want to get them down now. I want to do them in a quality-oriented manner. Well, while that practical action is important, the answer lies in getting still and going within. So anytime you get the reverse, don't try to flip it and want the other. Like, take what you get and trust that. Don't be upset with it. Just go with it and say, okay, I hear this message loud and clear. Slowing down right now is the hidden truth that is actually the key to my success, that maybe I wasn't able to really hear last week because it was just too hard or there was too much going on. But today, this is the information being revealed to me that I am ready to hear, that is going to be relevant to my journey forward, my quantum leap. Now, after you've gotten your card and your message, you can go to the guidebook. And whether you've got a tarot deck or an oracle deck, you go to the meaning of the card. And this is the 12th card. And of course, it's a 12. And it's kind of funny because if you're listening to this in real time, I'm recording it in March of 2025 and it's a 12 month. Don't you love? Like, there's number codes. And I always look at the numbers, whether the numerology is correlated with the messages. Some of Colette Baron-Reid's cards are correlated numerologically with the messages, but I always look at the number. What's the number code? So you can go a step deeper and look at the number. It's the number 12, the number of creation. Creativity comes from the divine when I get slow and steady. There's another way to start drawing messages and interpretations from this. Okay, I'm going to go to the guidebook and I'm going to read us what it says in the guidebook reversed. Okay, slow and steady means slow and steady wins the race. Okay, we've already talked about that. Here is the reversed message. Pushing things forward impulsively will not only prevent success, but potentially cause more trouble than you're prepared to handle. Moving too quickly will only yield unripe fruit. Y'all, I've been talking about low-hanging fruit and the fact that this is the card I pulled and it's saying unripe fruit. And that analogy, again, see, I told you, my mind is always blown by this. I'm like, it's amazing. Like, spirit is always there, right? Okay, moving too quickly will only yield unripe fruit with a bitter taste. Slow down, breathe, meditate. You are not a human doing, you are a human being. Just be. Everything will work out if you can apply the brakes and become more aware of what's happening in this moment. A calm focus on the now, breathing in the beauty of your surroundings, will restore your power to consciously co-create your world. All fruits ripen in their own time. Okay, I'm just having a mind-blown moment just because I've been talking about low-hanging fruit. So I love how in your face this card is for me and also for all of us in recognizing impulsivity. Because the energy now in general has a lot of knee-jerk impulsivity if we look at the astrology and the numerology. And one of the messages this month is about slowing down. So for all of us, remembering to breathe, get still, meditate, go within, put your hand on your heart, recognize that everything is being orchestrated in divine timing. So where I would go after I pull my card and I have my moment and my, amazement with it, I will start journaling because I will say, okay, what is coming through for me? Where am I rushing things? This is being revealed to me now. And what am I rushing? How am I rushing things? Why am I afraid of slowing down? What is the fear behind that? And I'll get into the guidebook and I'll underline things and write out words that stand out to me or phrases. And then I will journal on them based on my personal experience and what is coming through. So essentially, while you're doing this, you're interconnecting your head and your heart. You're using your cognizance and your cognition around the card and the messages. And then you are psycho-spiritually starting to integrate, pull into your heart, and you're channeling. Many of you know what it feels like to just start journaling and just stuff flies out of your pen and onto the page. Enjoy it. You journal for each card as long as you want to or need to. You just go with the flow, but also write down whatever is being revealed. If it's bringing you into the past of where you've rushed things in the past, and then fruit has not been ripened, it's been bitter. Listen to those analogies. See what is coming to your cognizance and your consciousness in that moment that relates to your current experience. And if I take this card and I get honest and vulnerable for all of you for a minute, and I interpret this for myself.
This is Ashley Akinene from the Ben and Ashley I Almost Famous podcast. If you could lose 10.4 pounds in 1 month, would you try? Well, with Future Health, you can. Find out if weight loss meds are right for you in just 3 minutes at tryfh.com. That is tryfh.com.
Tryfh.com.
Results may vary based on start weight and adherence to diet, exercise, and program goals. Data based on independent studies sponsored by Future Health. Future Health is not a healthcare services provider. Meds are prescribed at provider's discretion.
Hi, friend. It's your inner child calling. And they want churros. A new toy. And a new adventure. Or maybe 5. With the bestest besties on Earth. Find your moment at Walt Disney World Resort.
From prioritizing time to keep our bodies active to simply creating space to check on our well-being, Happiness Lab listeners take their health very seriously. But when it comes to treating complex issues like heart disease, neurological disorders, or even cancer, the right care can make all the difference. That's why Cleveland Clinic has been elevating world-class patient care for over a century. Whether they're raising the bar in heart care, uncovering the mysteries of the brain, or researching new treatments for cancer, Cleveland Clinic continues to redefine what's possible. For every breakthrough in health, for every care in the world. Explore a wide array of health and wellness information by visiting clevelandclinic.org today.
The more you listen to your kids, the closer you'll be. Find resources to help you support your kids and their emotional well-being at sounditouttogether.org. That's sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal.
The first thing that comes to mind is, as of late, I'm just laughing because of the truth of it and the true nature. As of late, I've been feeling all of this kind of energy within, like, I need to say this, I need to get this done. People are misunderstanding me, or I'm feeling misunderstood. I need to just set the record straight. I need to set the record straight. And that need is kind of like an impulsive word. I got to, I have to, that kind of energy. And it's funny because today I was thinking, I don't need to do anything. I need to just be who I am, be still. More will be revealed. Surrender to the mystery, Amanda. That's what I've been saying lately. Surrender to the mystery. So this card for me shows me exactly what feels unnatural to me, to just be still. Don't need to say, do, interfere in any way. Just be. Allow the universe to respond to my needs so my action can be aligned and in the highest good. So this card totally applies to me, and I'm sure it resonates with many of you out there. And I'm curious to hear what's coming up for you and maybe where this hits home. So definitely drop me a line, podcast@soulsessions.me, and maybe we'll have some time to share some of the feedback on one of the future podcasts. All right, so that's the first card, and I put the first card in my spread. Last thing I want to say about the first card, let's call it our anchor card, meaning it's the main archetype of my whole reading. It is really the central core to the whole reading. It's, to me, the foundational card and what will take me through the next 30 days. So what I recommend after your reading, when you close your sacred space, I would put this card on your desk, like right here. I will put this card right in front of me after I wrap this up. or maybe on my mirror in my bathroom or next to my bed or on my little altar, wherever you will see it, and you'll get that reminder, oh, slow down, breathe. The fruit is not ripe yet. There's more to be revealed. I surrender to the mystery of the universe. So this is your anchor card. All right, let's do the second card. Let's see what comes through. So I'm going to go ahead and, there's a card that came out and I haven't even asked the question. Again, that's just how it works. I'm not even going to look at it yet, but it flew out. The question I was going to ask is, what attachments, unhealthy habits, behaviors, or patterns am I clinging on to that it is time for me to let go of, set a new boundary around? What unhealthy habits, patterns, behaviors, environments, relationship am I ready to reveal? Like, what is it that I need to know that is actually limiting my abundance? What needs to shift in order for me to shift? Okay, I pulled this one in reverse too. So I guess we're just needing some hardcore lessons today. And the first thing I notice on this card, it's the Field of Dreams, and it's got fairies in it. Again, this whole deck doesn't just have fairies in it, so there's not a lot of cards with fairy energy. So there's a correlation. There's also a full moon in this card. Like, there is a full moon, and we're doing this for a full moon spread. And the number on the card is 21. If you remember, the last card was 12. This stuff lights up my soul. I'm like, I don't need any more information than that. I'm already on board. I'm like, yes, I got it. All right, this is the Field of Dreams, and there's all these beautiful fairies, and they're coming out of these eggs, and they're playing music, and there's butterflies, and there's this gorgeous rolling field and clouds and kind of sparkly fairy dust coming out of the sky, out of the new moon, the Field of Dreams. Of course, I know this card, and I know the meaning behind it, but what I would see in this is get into my dream state. Get into my dream state. And it goes so beautifully with the slow and steady wins the race card. They start to tell a story, right? The cards tell a story. So we have slow down, meditate, breathe, more will be revealed. And then my question was, what unhealthy habits, patterns am I needing to get rid of in order to heal? And this is the Field of Dreams card. So it's asking me to go into my dream state. And the first thing that comes to mind for all of us and for myself is get out of your rational mind. Quit rationalizing, Amanda, because the Field of Dreams card is anything but rational. It's creative. It's imaginary. It's the astral plane. So drawing this card upside down, but in general, says to me, what am I needing to let go of? My rationalization and my thinking mind. Get it out of my head and into my heart. I'm going to read the interpretation of the card for everybody because it'll give us more juice, more energy, more to think about. All right, the Field of Dreams. Your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs are always engaging with the vast field of pure potential. So this, again, like the first card, is talking about becoming a conscious co-creator, meaning our thoughts, our rational thoughts, everything we are thinking is engaging with the field at all times. So here's the message in the reversed. Are your dreams your own? Are they really someone else's? Have you chased money, possessions, or prestige? Have you placed security above fulfillment? Has approval seeking played a major role in your motivations to succeed? And I'm like raising my hand for that because this is some old stuff for me. And I've actually been meditating a lot on this lately, and I'll share the remainder of that in a minute with you. This is the time for you to access the validity of your dreams, your talents, your willingness to be a channel for inspiration and creativity. Don't be afraid to enter the Field of Dreams, for you can always clear new ground for new and better things to grow. Nature has a way of self-correcting if you're willing to act with authenticity. The power to create is inside you. So, first of all, I think you all can hear both cards are basically saying, slow down, go within. Go within yourself, go within your dreams, go within your heart, get imaginative and creative. As I interpret this card and listening to that message, it's so amazing because I've been doing personally a lot of work around carrying the limiting beliefs of my parents. We all absorb the limiting beliefs and unlimiting beliefs of our environments, right? And for the past 2 weeks, I have been really focusing on what traits, behaviors, beliefs, and limitations that I absorbed from my parents that may or may not have been mine. So it's funny that this message is, what is your motivation here? Is your motivation coming from something external, someone, someplace, or something? And for not all of my life, but for a big portion, I was doing things out of expectations of other people or other people's stories. And of course, that has transformed for me vastly over the years. But lately, this exact message on here has been something I'm saying I am completely ready to let go of any limitations, beliefs, or behaviors that are not coming from my soul and with around my fears. So for me personally, this actually resonates in all the words and language in this card and the reversed position of it. Are your dreams your own? Or are they someone else's? My dreams today are my own, but for a long time, my dreams were absolutely expectations that I had interpreted from my parents, and that kicked into high gear. So it took a long time to discover and uncover my own dreams, but I've really been resonating around this. Have you chased money, possessions, or prestige? Absolutely. I used to do this. My family taught me if I have a credential or external success or a great job, then I am valuable. And there's no shade on my family. That is just part of our story, is that the worth doesn't come from within. It comes from credentials and achievements. So heck yes, this has been me in the past. But this has been stuff I've been reflecting on, and how much I've grown and changed, and how my values and behaviors and friendships and relationships have evolved as a result. So this card for all of us is a wonderful reminder to get clear around our own fulfillment, our own dreams. Pay attention to our dreams. And full moons, because this is a full moon spread, full moons are a time to pay attention to your dreams. So I would journal on this card, of course, and I would relate it back to all the things that are resonating for me personally now. And because the question was, what attachment, limiting beliefs are holding me back that I am really ready to let go of, this solidifies everything I have been praying about recently. May I unconsciously move from a higher plane devoid of limiting beliefs of my past, my environment, my circumstances, and come from the now. So I would journal on that and write out some examples, and then I would start writing intentions from this. Definitely this to me has a lot of intentions. So for example, and I'm just going to use the guidebook as an example, it says, are your dreams your own, or are they really someone else's? I would write, my dreams are my own. My dreams are coming from my higher self now and this day forward. I am becoming more fulfilled in my divine alignment each and every day. Thank you. Like that just is flowing out of me, but I would probably journal something like that. Today, I am experiencing fulfillment. When I am fulfilled, I feel safe. Because it says, are you placing security above fulfillment? So I just flip the script and saying, today I am experiencing fulfillment. And when I am fully fulfilled, I am whole enough and safe just as I am. I am a channel of divine inspiration and creativity. I am clearing new ground for better things. Nature is helping me autocorrect over the course of the next 30 days, and I am behaving authentically. I am acting authentically. I am authentic in all that I do with myself, with others, and with my higher power. So you see, I just am playing on the words in here to create intentions for the full moon cycle. All right, let's do the next card.
This is Ashley Akadene from the Ben and Ashley I Almost Famous podcast. If you could lose 10.4 pounds in 1 month, would you try? Well, with Future Health, you can. Find out if weight loss meds are right for you in just 3 minutes at tryfh.com. That is tryfh.com.
Tryfh.com.
Results may vary based on start weight and adherence to diet, exercise, and program goals. Data based on independent studies sponsored by Future Health. Future Health is not a healthcare services provider. Meds are prescribed at provider's discretion.
Hi, friend. It's your inner child calling. And they want churros. A new toy. And a new adventure. Or maybe 5. With the bestest besties on Earth. Find your moment at Walt Disney World Resort.
From prioritizing time to keep our bodies active to simply creating space to check on our well-being, Happiness Lab listeners take their health very seriously. But when it comes to treating complex issues like heart disease, neurological disorders, or even cancer, the right care can make all the difference. That's why Cleveland Clinic has been elevating world-class patient care for over a century. Whether they're raising the bar in heart care, uncovering the mysteries of the brain, or researching new treatments for cancer, Cleveland Clinic continues to redefine what's possible. For every breakthrough in health, for every care in the world. Explore a wide array of health and wellness information by visiting clevelandclinic.org today.
The more you listen to your kids, the closer you'll be. Find resources to help you support your kids and their emotional well-being at soundedouttogether.org. That's soundedouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal.
All right, let's do the next card. I hope you're having fun with this, and this is just giving you more insight and guidance into not only like how amazing these cards are, but also how you can be creative and play with this stuff. Okay, another card flew out, and I haven't asked the question. I mean, we're seeing a pattern here. The next question I was going to ask is, what wisdom or hidden talent do I need to be aware of right now to help me in my healing path forward over the next few weeks? What is my hidden talent? What's my superpower? What's my, super resource, my divine resource that I am needing for the path forward? Okay, I did not pull this card in reverse, so it's upright. It's the movement card. And this card cracks me up, and I've pulled this card many a time. It is an ostrich, and the ostrich has this beautiful, little landscape on its back with a windmill, and there is a hot air balloon off in the distance. But the ostrich is moving out of this muddy muck onto green grass, and as you all know, ostriches are the fastest running birds there are. I don't know about roadrunners, but I'm pretty sure I can't remember how many miles an hour ostriches run. When they run really, really fast. But the ostrich is taking a step at a time. So the movement card, it's funny because we got slow and steady wins the race, the dream card, and now we've got movement. So I'm not stuck anywhere, but I want to share this with you all because I know this deck so darn well. The card that comes before this card is the stuck in the mud card, and it's an elephant stuck in the mud. And so the card after that is the movement card. So I automatically know I'm over the next 2 weeks, I don't want to feel stuck. I want to take action. I want to move. But this is about deliberate movement. And the number on the card is 28. 2 + 8 = 10. That's a 1. And so, of course, 1, I need to take action. It's the energy of the 1 is about initiation, action. I need to make changes. I need to have some movement to apply these changes in my life. And I ask what, my tool was, my superpower over the course of the next few weeks is to me, take deliberate, intentional movement, quality-oriented steps each and every day. What action am I taking today? How am I demonstrating that I am healing, changing, growing, getting out of my head, into my heart, those kinds of things. So let's read the message on the card. You are in a time of positive forward motion. This is the time for positive momentum as you come out of a period of restriction. You are in a stage of new adventure and discovery. You may feel compelled to take a trip, change your hair, or move home or business. Regardless, you can't remain where you are anymore. You feel compelled to go forward. No matter what your inquiry, you will see your dreams, there we go again, take form, and doors previously shut begin to open as if by magic. I'm going to read the rest of the card, but what I will tell you about this is I asked what the superpower was, what's going to be my best course of action, superpower tool to use, and it's saying, movement, take action. But what I love about this is it says doors previously shut will now be open. So you know what that tells me? Don't be discouraged. Try again. If there was a door that I approached a few months ago and I got rejected or it didn't open, maybe it's time to come at it at a fresh approach with a new consciousness, a new awareness. So it's saying, hey, don't be stubborn. Like if that door is there and it's still in your heart, try to open it this time. You might be surprised because it may open as if by magic. Movement is also a state of mind. The fog lifts and you now know the actions you need to take. This isn't the time for fear. Let go and move forward. There's so much that we can journal on and receive from this. It's about taking action and remembering that sometimes we take one step forward and two steps back, but it's about taking action, but taking action with love and removing the fear. It's a time of adventure, discovery. So I would, of course, journal on this because it totally relates to where I am now and things that are going on in my life. I'm like, okay, of course it is time to take slow, steady, deliberate action, but it's a time of forward motion. And I'm truly feeling that right now in my life. And it feels like I've removed the force and I'm in the flow and it's magical. So that's what this movement is about, is being in the flow, the force field, not applying self-will and force, and absolutely recognizing when my actions come from a place of fear or doubt versus love and adventure. So again, you can take some of the messages from here. I am available for positive momentum. I embrace the new adventure and changes coming up in my life. Dreams that previously did not come to fruition, they are available to me now, and I am going to be awestruck at the universe's gifts to me. Movement is a state of mind. My mind is flexible. My eyes are open. My perspective is wide. I don't know, just right here, like I'm just giving you some juice, but you relate it to yourself and then write those intentions. And before I pull this last card and we wrap this up and see what the closing message is going to be, if you've noticed, none of the questions that I've asked have been like, am I going to move next month? Am I going to be able to be happy in XYZ? Am I getting a new job? When I work with oracle cards, it is rare that I ask a specific question about a relationship or a work thing. I will be thinking it. Like before I start, I will say, okay, this relationship is weighing on me, or I'm really concerned about my direction with work today and I don't know the answers. So I throw that up there. The universe knows what I'm struggling with. I don't have to spell that out specifically. I keep this open-ended because I can relate all these things to the minutia that I have questions around. So keep these questions open-ended and know that the universe is responding with the messages you need for specific circumstances, and loosen your grip on the details. And again, remember, North Node in Pisces, loosen the grip on the details, surrender to the mystery. And that is the energy we're in. Okay, the last card that I'm going to pull, the question is, how will this lunar phase enable me to grow? What is in my future? What is the future ahead of me? What is the highest outcome? What is the highest path forward through all of this? All right. What is being revealed? What is my highest outcome? What is the highest path forward through this lunar phase? I love this. And I pulled it in reverse. So, okay, what is the highest outcome? Oh, you're going to get out of your own stubborn way, Amanda. And y'all, it's the heal the ouch card. It's the sweetest little card. There's a raccoon and a fox, and the fox has like an ice pack on its head. And the raccoon is like the doctor or the nurse, and he's tending to the fox. And so heal the ouch is the card, and the number is 38. Which is the number 11. 3 plus 8 equals 11, master number 11. So interconnection of the head and the heart, interconnection of the human and the superhuman. But heal the ouch. I said, what is the outcome of all of this? Is that my suffering will be alleviated. And in reverse, to me, what that says for you, for me, for all of us, is the fear and the doubt and the pain and the stuff that we are hanging on to, that I'm hanging on to, that I'm like, yeah, but who am I going to be if I don't have this drive or this motivation or this success or this relationship? Like, or are people going to be mad at me? You know, all that stuff that we cling on to. It's saying the other side of all this, y'all and Amanda, is we're going to really heal it. The more painful it is, the bigger the healing. It's a really sweet card. I'm going to read you, again, the message in reverse. Heal the ouch. Forgiveness is the healer of the soul. Y'all, this is so funny. I forgot that was the main message on this card. I've been practicing a lot of forgiveness lately of myself and other people and attitudes and behaviors, and thinking about my parents. I mean, just on so many levels, forgiveness just weighs me down. If I'm not forgiving someone or something. And so I've been just saying, thank you that I'm so forgiving, that I'm letting go, that I'm practicing acceptance, whatever it may be around. So for that to be the main message here is, this is my reward. This is my outcome, is that I'm going to be able to forgive, and it's going to set me free. And it's reminding me that I need to keep flexing my forgiveness muscles, become open and willing to practice forgiveness actively. And you know what else it tells me? That, remember how I pulled it in reverse? Over the course of the next 30 days, I may encounter a lot of things that I'm going to be tested and going to have to practice a little forgiveness around. The cards are cheeky, right? That's the other thing I read into the card is, you know what, Amanda? If you want to really forgive and really be set free, then all right, over the next 30 days, we'll give you some things to forgive. We'll see if you really mean it, girlfriend. That's what it says to me. All right, here's the message. Reversed, this card is a message urging you to make amends for any harm you've done to another. Appraisal for yourself, honestly. Have you been selfish, greedy, inconsiderate of others? Have you harbored resentment to those who have harmed you in the past? Practice deep and radical forgiveness. In order to be free, to know healing, you must surrender to old hurts and begin anew. Forgiving yourself and loving yourself is important too. Be humble and willing to admit your weaknesses. Know the imperfections of the human personality. Walk tall as you take the path of the shaman, the wise elder who is willing to go into the shadows to bring healing light to old wounds. One of the things about this deck and this card is Colette Baron-Reid has been in sobriety a long time. And this is the first deck I bought, and I was new in sobriety. And you can tell that this basically comes very, very much out of the book of Alcoholics Anonymous. It's got a lot of jargon around the 9th step of AA. And so I resonate with it. I have someone who walks me through these things and practicing amends. So what comes out of this card for me and for all of us is, I probably need to really look at my side of the street and recognize where I need to make amends. So not just practicing forgiveness. Are there areas in my life where I need to make amends? And I can think of a couple right now, right off, but I'm not just going to dart out and make those amends. Remember the other cards that we got in this spread. I'm going to actually step back, and I'm going to seek out some wise counsel, talk through this, and have someone help me recognize my side of the street in order to be able to fully and wholly, in a place of neutrality, loving, and acceptance, make those amends where they're necessary, if they're necessary. And amends just may be saying a prayer and forgiving somebody in your heart, or it may not be a conversation. It may be something with your own being. So what I love about this message for all of us is appraise yourself, honesty. Have you been selfish, greedy, or inconsiderate of others? Well, sure, we're human. We get selfish and self-centered. We do that all the time. And I can think of recently where I've been selfish or in my own self and not helpful to other people or open to other people because I've been hurt or my feelings are hurt. So this is a wonderful reminder. If I'm open and ready to do the shadow work, it also means that I'm going to have to take action and have some maybe difficult conversations, but from a higher perspective and an openness and willingness to look at my own side of the street and take the action to clean that up and to correct it by any means necessary. So I would journal around this card. And then this for me would be something where I would sit down with someone else and ask for some insight or guidance into the healthiest action for me to take. So that was a lot of fun, and I hope you all enjoyed that, and I hope you got some really great insight for yourself in how to pull an oracle card spread and work with it, especially during a full moon, because it is so centered around letting go, closure, healing, illuminating stuff, and I love how the last card basically said, what's going to come out of this is you're going to need to clean up your side of the street too. You're going to forgive, but you may need to be forgiven or at least ask for that. So it means I'm going to have to roll up my sleeves over the course of the next month. And it's funny because I feel like that is coming. Like I can feel that coming in my energy field, and I'm not afraid of it. It's just like, no, I want to heal and be better. So for the next full moon, whether it's a regular full moon or an eclipse, definitely pull your cards, write your intentions out, use these, be amazed. And then when you finish, take that anchor card, that very first card that you drew, and put it somewhere significant so you see it. And for all of us, the message here is slow and steady wins the race. Slow down, y'all. Let's slow our roll. And if I see this every day, I will practice it better every day. So use the spread and be able to reference it. And then I would keep your journal next to your bed or whatever works for you. And over the course of the next 30 days, and even through the upcoming new moon cycle, taking notes on what's being revealed, what you're learning, how you're practicing, and look at your intentions and what is starting to come to light. Where are you being tested? Where are these things being revealed more deeply and truly in your experience? Keep tracking and correlating the data because it will exercise those psychospiritual muscles. It will interconnect the head and the heart, and it will also create a rapid acceleration of your growth and your healing. In the show notes, the description, there are all the links to the blog and new and full moon ceremonies. But I hope you enjoyed this. And definitely, if you have any feedback, any questions, or any insights that were revealed, reach out, podcast@soulsessions.me. And if you haven't checked this out on YouTube, totally do it, because then you can see the oracle cards and you can see my face as I'm doing this. Thank you all for joining me. May your oracle card full moon reading be so darn magical that it not only elevates your heart, mind, body, and in spirit, but it sends out ripples into the cosmos that helps us elevate the consciousness of and the heart space of humanity. Thank you all for showing up for yourselves and for the world around you. Be well. Thank you so much for listening to Soul Sessions. If you've got questions, do not hesitate to reach out. Email us, podcast@soulsessions.me. If you love this podcast and you want to hear more, make sure you're following it, liking and subscribing, and sharing it with other people. Send this energy out. Share it with other people. Remember, you can always get your dose of Soul Sessions. New episodes drop on Wednesdays. You can also follow me on Instagram, TikTok. It's @soulpathology, or check out soulpathology.com. I appreciate you and your light. Thanks for listening.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Cheekies, and I'm back with a brand new season of your favorite podcast, Cheekies and Chill. I'll be sharing even more personal stories with you guys, and as always, you'll get my exclusive take on topics like love, personal growth, health, family ties, and more. And don't forget, I'll also be dishing out my best advice to you on episodes of Dear Cheekies. It's going to be an exciting year, and I hope that you can join me. Listen to Cheekies and Chill Season 4 on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is Mel Reid, LPGA Tour winner and 6-time Ladies European Tour winner.
And Kira K. Dixon, NBC Sports reporter and host.
And we've got a new podcast, Quiet Please, with Mel
and Kira. We are bringing you spicy takes on sports and pop culture, some interviews with incredible people who have figured out how to make golf their superpower.
An iHeart Women's Sports production in partnership with Deep Blue Sports and Entertainment. You can find us on iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Presented by Elf Beauty, founding partner of iHeart Women's Sports.
Tickets are on sale now, y'all, for our 2025 iHeart Country Festival, presented by Capital One, happening Saturday, May 3rd at the Moody Center in Austin, Texas. Don't miss your chance to see Brooks and Dunn, Thomas Rhett, Rascal Flatts, Cole Swindell, Sam Hunt, Megan Maroney, Bailey Zimmerman, Nate Smith. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
The more you listen to your kids, the closer you'll be. Find resources to help you support your kids and their emotional well-being at soundedouttogether.org. That's soundedouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal.